and welcome to the Absolute Recap Biology Edition, where we aim to maximize your understanding and minimize your need for memorization. Each episode will recap content, skills, and test-taking tips to help you succeed in May. I'm your host, Melanie Kingett, and your recap starts now. Hi, and welcome to the Absolute Recap Biology Edition. Today's episode will recap continuing evolution. Let's zoom out. We're in Unit 7, Natural Selection, Topic 7.8. Our big idea is evolution. What? There's still more evolution? Yep, life is never finished.
You take care of your life, I'll take care of mine.
If all of the organisms on Earth are in an evolutionary race, they might be disappointed to learn that there is no finish line for completion, nor medals for most advanced. The organism that didn't leave the starting mark is equally as successful as the organism which leaped past every obstacle to climb the tallest mountain, at least evolutionarily. If the environment changes, life continues to evolve within it. Let's zoom in. Populations of organisms continuously evolve. There's that word again, populations. Remember, organisms have phenotypes on which natural selection acts. Some survive to reproduce, whereas others do not.
But we did survive.
But it is on the population level where reproduction actually occurs, with members of the same species interacting in the same geographic area.
A certain species, yes.
And so, populations evolve over time, with allele frequencies fluctuating from one generation to the next. And it's genomic changes which affect phenotypic changes over time. After that, you have the community level, with multiple populations interacting. Then, the ecosystem, where populations interact with the abiotic factors of the environment. One of the great pieces of evidence for evolution is the continuous change in the fossil record. A fossil is a record of an organism that may show the size, shape, and even texture of different body parts. Some common examples include skin, teeth, skulls, nests, tracks, and even dung.
Just what is this?
Yep. Poop can be classified as fossil evidence.
Yes, that's what I thought.
But it's often true-form fossils that tell the greatest story about an organism's past. Consider the evolution of cetaceans, oceanic mammals like whales and dolphins. Evolved from a wolf-like land mammal, skull fossil evidence shows the migration of the nostril opening from snout to blowhole. 47 million years ago was Arctocetus, with nostril opening at the end of the snout, right near the mouth. 36 million years ago was Proseuglodon, with a nose opening halfway between the eyeballs and the snout's end. Now, the extant skull of the Amazonian dolphin has a nostril opening at the top, positioned right in between the eyeballs. Having a respiratory opening on the top of the skull is advantageous, since this is the part of the cetacean which interacts with the air first when approaching the ocean's surface.
Hello, AP students. Producer Brad here to tell you about the importance of hard work and... Okay, they're gone. Here's the deal. One procrastinator to another, you haven't started studying. Hey, no, you don't need to lie to me or make up excuses. You're among friends. We're in the trust tree, okay? Now, like I was saying, you haven't started studying, and I haven't started editing the episode you're listening to. But guess what? It doesn't matter. We thrive under pressure. Does awesome stuff happen when you carefully plan for months and months? No. Awesome stuff happens at the end, when the clock is winding down. Hail Mary touchdown passes, buzzer beaters from half court, walk-off grand slams, fireworks, dessert, every action movie ever. This is when legends are born. With that being said, it doesn't hurt to give the material a once-over. That's where the binge comes in. Sign up for a virtual binge review session today at TheApsoluteRecap.com. That's the APsolute recap.com. And then go be awesome, like your hero, me.
Antibiotic resistance, a monster we unfortunately created in the, for better or for worse, path of modern medicine.
Maybe we did make a big mistake.
Let's break it down with the 4 steps of natural selection from the bacterial perspective. First, overproduction of offspring. Well, that's very true. Some bacteria reproduce by binary fission every 30 minutes. Second, genetic variation. Less so for prokaryotes, since bacteria are identical through asexual reproduction. However, random mutations and conjugation ensure that there is diversity in the population. Third, struggle to survive. This is where antibiotics come in. Most, but not all, the bacteria will meet their maker. And fourth, successful reproduction. The few remaining bacteria will reproduce, passing on their inherent and random antibiotic resistance gene to the next generation. Over time, more and more bacteria in the population will be resistant to that antibiotic.
Wait a minute. We have to be careful.
We see a similar pattern of evolution with pesticides, herbicides, and chemotherapy drugs. Lastly, and this one hits a bit too close to home in 2021, pathogens also evolve to cause new diseases. Yikes. Pathogens are any bacteria, virus, or microorganism that can cause disease. Yes, even though viruses are technically non-living, they do contain genomes that change over time. This means that some pathogens evolve to infect new hosts from one year to the next, and can be classified and categorized with common ancestry. The COVID-19 virus is the chemical cousin to several other viruses, and shares a recent common ancestor with bat coronaviruses.
But the bats, man! The bats!
RNA viruses have high mutation rates through base substitution, insertion, deletion, or antigenetic drift. Mutations are the reason why we currently need an updated annual flu vaccine.
It must be a mutation, a freak of nature.
But remember, a virus can only penetrate a host cell with a specific matching receptor. And so, just as COVID evolved to infect humans, it may also evolve away from human hosts. Time for unit connections. Like most topics in evolution, there is a connection to Unit 5, heredity, as genotype frequencies change over time within a population. Viral infection involves cell communication, so there's a crossover to Unit 4 with ligands. And of course, populations fall within the ecosystem hierarchy discussed in Unit 8, ecology. All right, what about the exam? This is a good topic to interpret graphs and practice distinguishing between variable groups, specifically as it relates to Science Skill 6, develop and justify scientific arguments using evidence. To recap, evolution doesn't have goals or dated deadlines, but simply responds to environmental change. Seen through continual changes in genotypic frequencies, the fossil record, and antibiotic resistance, evolution isn't about the destination, but the pathway of change. Coming up next on the Absolute Recap Biology Edition, responses to the environment. Today's question of the day is about pesticides. N-diethyl-meta-toluamide is an insect repellent developed by the U.S. Army in 1946. What is it commonly known as? For the answer to the question of the day, please follow us on Instagram at TheApsoluteRecap. That's the APsolute recap. Check out our website, TheApsoluteRecap.com, for episode schedules, study guides, virtual tutoring, and to sign up for our virtual classroom. The Absolute Recap is produced by Brad Kingett with music by Zach Caruso. Today's episode was written by me, Melanie Kingett. Thanks for subscribing, and don't forget to rate and review wherever you get podcasts. Time's up. Pencils down. Thank you for listening to the Absolute Recap Biology Edition. AP is a registered trademark of the College Board. Copyright 2020, Absolute Recap LLC, all rights reserved.